saying that says history paves the way to the future. Because if you forget where you came from, you have no idea where you're going. Now, when it comes to this country, most people realize who the founding fathers were and what their vision was for this nation. But when it comes to the aftermarket, most people have no idea where it came from or who helped build it. They just know that you can go down and pick up a catalog and order all kinds of cool parts pretty much anytime you want. But it wasn't always like that. No, there was a time when hot rodders were considered punks, and anybody that worked on their car was just a step up from the village idiot.
Contact!
Switch on!
Switch on!
Get under it! Grab that motor!
I'll get it, don't worry!
In the early 50s, the country was full of restless young men that wanted to race cars and go fast. And the competition was wild and fierce. And one of the fiercest competitors was a kid named Bill Smith. Driving a purple 32 sedan, he regularly trounced the competition at the racetrack.
So all my pals that lived around me were all 3 and 4 years older, and they all loved cars. So we hung around the gas stations together. We raced them. We did everything.
However, Bill quickly realized that to go fast, he needed speed parts, and so did everybody else. So in 1952, he opened up a place called Speedway Motors in Lincoln, Nebraska, and started selling speed parts. Little did he know that that simple action would have a staggering effect on our automotive culture. Just like the day that Buddy Holly plugged a Stratocaster into an amp and turned it up and changed music forever, Speedway Motors changed the way guys work on their cars. As the years passed, Bill continued to race and earned the nickname Speedy Bill. And at the same time, Speedway Motors became known as the place to go to get the good stuff for your race car or your hot rod. Then one day, Bill decided to start selling his products through the mail so he could get parts to hot rodders all over the country. And with that, the mail order parts business that we all rely on today was born. Over the years, Speedway Motors has grown into a massive, state-of-the-art facility that today spans multiple buildings and acres of real estate. When orders come in, they're quickly passed down so the parts can be pulled for shipping. And the system is so accurate that mistakes are almost non-existent.
When a customer places an order, it begins here. Our pulling routine begins here. There's approximately about 3,000 different SKUs or part numbers on each one of these pods. In the system here, we got about 12,000 different SKUs located here. Computers automatically know when we bring the barcodes up what is involved in every invoice for that customer.
Due to the size of the warehouse and the thousands of parts inside, sometimes just pulling the parts can be better than any ride that you'll get at a theme park. All right, you got your final will and testament, don't you, Mark? There we go. Okay, there you go. Bye. Jackie, keep your eyes on the road. Now that he's gone, you got the keys? He's got the keys to the car.
Need to change your shorts?
The variety of parts you'll find here is astounding. From the tiniest little trim or hardware pieces, all the way up to complete chassis and body kits so you can build the car that you've always dreamed of. Matter of fact, if it fits on a car or makes it go faster or look cooler, you're probably going to find it at Speedway Motors. Once the parts are pulled, they travel down a network of conveyors to be packed and wrapped and readied for shipping. The question is, what about Bill, the mastermind behind this incredible operation? Is he still around? Is he still involved? Oh yeah, he is still around and he's still involved. And as cool as Speedway Motors is, you've only seen a part of the story because you are not going to believe what he has got stashed in his other buildings. Hey everybody, Stacey David here with some exciting news. I just finished up a new children's book called Iggy and the Stickman. Now, like I said, this is my second children's book, and a lot of people ask, man, why do you write children's books? And the answer is very simple. All of us, no matter how old we are still a kid at heart. And sometimes when you take a story and simplify it, it not only makes it easier to understand, a lot of times it's more powerful. And in the case of Iggy and the Stickman, you got the story of a stick who thinks he knows what his goal is in life. And then he has a chance encounter with the mysterious Stickman, and he finds out that his true value is buried somewhere deep within. I'm not going to tell you any more about the story. You're going to love it. There's some great surprises that you're not going to be expecting. So it's a great story to read to your kids, or it's a good gift to maybe give to that person that might be wondering what their goal is in life, what their purpose is. This might help shed some light on it. Get yourself one at staceydavid.com. Hey, welcome back to Gearz and our look at one of the oldest and largest speed shops in America, Speedway Motors. Now, we've already taken a look at the incredible facility and inventory of parts that Speedway has today, and the fact that they were one of the originators of the mail order parts idea. But there's a lot more to Bill Smith than just selling parts. He is first and foremost a racer, and he did two other things in 1952.
Speedway Motors was opened the year that I graduated from college, the year that I got married.
Well, it's been a fun ride. I jokingly tell people that we know well that I haven't had a minute's rest since I met him.
And over the years, they have put together one of the most incredible racing museums you will ever see. Vintage sprint cars are the first thing you'll see as you come in the door. But these just aren't any sprint cars. These are championship-winning cars driven and built by some of the greatest names in racing. Experimental engines and parts by legends like Smokey Yunick and Mickey Thompson are out in full display to give you a clear idea of what these guys were working on at the time. Priceless Indy cars looking as fresh as the day they roared around the track are also on display with full documentation and history. Another area holds early race cars from the 10s and 20s, and it's amazing to see up close and personal the wild machines that those guys were strapping themselves into back in the day. A separate wing is loaded with speed parts for flathead and other performance engines. Intakes, superchargers, heads are everywhere, and some of it is extremely rare one-off stuff that you've probably never even heard of, let alone seen before. Since most of the parts and engines that they find are in need of restoration, the museum has a complete restoration facility to bring these parts back to life before they go out on the museum floor. If smaller cars are your thing, there are complete rooms of vintage pedal cars, toys, even tether cars. You know, they never had stuff like this when I was a kid. Do you remember the days of the old metal lunch boxes? Well, Bill's sons put together a whole wall of vintage lunch boxes that are bound to make you laugh and wish for a bologna sandwich. Now, when you were going to school, the type of lunchbox that you carried absolutely decided how cool or uncool that you were. If you went to school with Gentle Ben, you were a dweeb. If you went with Evel Knievel, you were cool, at least for another couple years. If you're more into 60s and 70s hot rods and cars, Bill also rounded up such legendary cars as the Red Baron and the Boot Hill Express, and a whole room full of modern hot rods and muscle cars. Of course, there's no way that Bill could have built an empire like this all by himself. No, he had a lot of help. Remember that girl Joyce that he married back in the 50s? Well, they had 4 sons, and that's the rest of the story behind the success of Speedway Motors. The sons not only inherited their parents' competitive spirit and drive for excellence, but most are involved with the day-to-day operation of Speedway Motors.
Having been in business since 1952, we have great rapport with all the manufacturers and all the vendors that we deal with. So they come to us first with products. Or if they have an idea about a product, they'll They'll bounce it off us and see if we have an interest in it, see if there's changes we can make to it.
Through the websites and that sort of thing, there's constantly updates and new additions to the instruction sheets and all of those type of things. So that information is available to the people to figure out, well, if I buy this, how am I going to install this? And they can get a feel for that on the front end instead of when it comes and there's no instructions.
We listen to the customer, and customer feedback drives almost everything that we do in the organization.
And of course, working right beside Bill the whole time with the same passion and commitment to excellence has been Joyce. And to raise 4 boys and keep Bill out of trouble all these years, that took a very special woman.
If anybody would have told us in those early days that this is where we'd be today, we'd have looked at each other and said, no way, because that's not possible.
Probably scared us.
Yes, it would have scared us both.
So the next time you need some parts for your project, you need to check out Speedway Motors, because they were not only there from the beginning, they're actually an important part of the history of hot rodding. And if you get a chance to check out their museum, you'll be able to see some of that history up close and personal. And you might even get a chance to shake hands with Speedy Bill, if you can